Welcome to Navy League's 16th Annual Veterans Day program. I am Steve Bristow, today's Master of Ceremonies. The Navy League is honored to present this Veterans Day observance. The program was filmed in advance in adherence with strict COVID-19 guidelines. In these interesting and troubled times, it is more important than ever that we support, honor, and respect those who have served. We especially wish to say hello to those in isolation. While you miss family and friends, thank you for joining us as you cope with restrictions. The striking of the bell is the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the day in which the armistice ending World War I was signed. Today, we chose to strike 21 bells to reflect the highest honor to the World War II greatest generation. Striking the bell has traditionally marked the official Veterans Day, where we pause to say thank you to those who have stood the watch, and also to those who are currently serving around the globe as members of our armed forces. And now, to render honors to the flag of our great nation, please rise as you are able and as appropriate for the presentation of colors by the Oak Harbor High School Navy Junior ROTC Color Guard and the Color Guard by the Sons of the American Revolution in Revolutionary War attire. Our national anthem is performed by YN2 Christopher Kelly from Navy Air Station Whidbey Island's Navy Information Operations Command. Also, please continue your respects for the invocation following the colors. Delivering the invocation for the 16th Annual Oak Harbor Community Veterans Day ceremony is Pastor Dr. David Johnson. Color Guard, parade the colors.
Order! Forward! March! Left. Face. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Carry. Colors. Ready. Cut. right. Face. Forward. March.
Holy God, amidst the challenges of this moment, we set aside time to remember and honor those who have been obedient to the call to protect the freedom our Constitution proclaims. God, you have created all people with a purpose of loving you and loving our neighbor. You've also given each of us unique callings and gifts. Today, we honor those who have received the calling and were obedient to the calling to the service of others and our Constitution. We pray in this moment that your Spirit, God, will be with all veterans and those who are active servants in our military today. Today, we also offer special prayers for all of those who are facing physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional challenges. We know, God, that you deeply care for each one as your child. May these few moments we are together today bring hope and strength and humility and courage. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Dave. Please be seated as appropriate. Thank you very much to Y&2 Christopher Kelly. Was that a stirring rendition of the national anthem or what? He is a squared-away sailor. Trust me on that one. His command is the finest of its type in the Navy, regularly receiving national awards. Thank you, Y&2 Kelly, and thank you for your commitment to our nation. Also, thank you to the Color Guard from the number 2 Navy Junior ROTC program in the country, the Wildcat Battalion. The Color Guard itself is the number 1 Color Guard in the region. Also, thanks to the National Society of the Sons of the Revolution, or American Revolution. It is a national organization with society locations here in the US and Europe, but not the UK. Ponder that. It is a nonpartisan organization dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and teaching history to future generations. Their national headquarters is among the top 10 locations in the world for visitor experience. Additionally, the historical flags behind us were provided by the Sons of the American Revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start additional elements of our program, first we have the President of Oak Harbor Area Council, Navy League of the United States, with a word of welcome. Greg Smith is a Navy veteran, a former EA-6B Prowler pilot, a former A-6 Intruder attack pilot, and before that, he held the enlisted rank of Navy Chief. Mr. Greg Smith.
Good morning to all our veterans, their families, and all of those of you joining us this morning across the nation. I'm Greg Smith, President of the Oak Harbor Council Navy League of the United States. And it truly gives me pleasure to welcome you to this year's Veterans Day celebration. The pandemic has presented us with its own unique set of challenges. However, the Oak Harbor Navy League, with the help of the Oak Harbor Lions Club, and our chamber and our generous community, have adapted to the situation to overcome these challenges that we face, and have put together a most professional, intriguing, and enjoyable program for you today. It truly impresses me the tireless dedication and the successes of our Veterans Day Committee. And I would like to send out a personal thank you to Kelly Davidson of the Navy League and the Lions Club, and Steve Bristow, past president of our Navy League Council, especially for their leadership. Whether you're a veteran, a friend of a veteran, a family member, or an acquaintance, you can be truly proud of their service to our country and the sacrifices that they have made and will continue to make in order to keep our democracy safe and our country as great as it's always been. So thank you again for joining us this morning. I hope you enjoy our Veterans Day celebration. So stay healthy, stay proud.
Thank you, President Gregg. Before we move further in today's program, please allow me to acknowledge Pastor Johnson. Reverend Dr. David Johnson retired after 40 years as a United Methodist pastor. He's an accomplished musician serving churches across Washington. He holds a doctorate in ministry from San Francisco School of Theology. To echo President Smith's welcome, the Navy League thanks all of you for taking the time to view our program. By your presence, you honor the veterans of our community. They are the heroes among us. Today, we come together to recognize and honor all of those who are on active duty in various uniforms of our nation, those who are retired, those who serve as citizen soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen in the reserves, those who have served but now passed to their final rest, and the families of our veterans who have borne the brunt of long months and years of separation, plus even the loss of their loved one, and who have stood staunchly by their veterans through it all. Before we began today's program, you viewed a prelude by music bagpiper Don Scobie of the Scottish American Military Society. Thank you, Mr. Scobie. For our first segment, we are honored to welcome Congressman Rick Larsen. He is our congressman for Washington's 2nd District. I first met Congressman Rick years ago when he was quite junior and I was still in uniform. He was curious and energetic for all things military in his district, visiting ships, bases, and leadership on a regular basis. Since then, he has been tireless, compiling an enormous body of work supporting our veterans. This includes housing, employment, education, and healthcare. Please welcome United States Congressman Rick Larsen.
Hello, I'm U.S. Representative Rick Larsen. And although we can't be together on Veterans Day because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's still important to honor the service and the sacrifice of the women and men who've served in the armed forces, in the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard, as well as our National Guard and reserves, especially the more than 57,000 veterans who call the Washington State 2nd District home. Veterans like you strengthen Western Washington's communities through your leadership and your advocacy. Since it was first observed in 1919 as Armistice Day to commemorate the end of World War I, Veterans Day has become an important annual commemoration. In 1926, the U.S. Congress set forth the purpose of the annual commemoration on November 11th by saying, the recurring anniversary of the state should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations. In 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, Congress changed the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day to honor veterans of all wars. And over the years, communities across Western Washington have honored those who have served the country in uniform. This year marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. Tens of thousands of Washingtonians heroically served in uniform during World War II, including technician 5th grade James Jim Okubo of Bellingham, Washington. Okubo, a first-generation Japanese American, was forced to relocate to a California internment camp with his family while a student at Western Washington University. He later volunteered as a medic with the 442nd Regimental Combat Team and was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor in 2000 for heroism in action near Bifontaine, France in 1944. Veterans like Jim and the Washingtonians who answered the call to duty have helped keep our nation free and hopeful about the possibility of peace in the world. And I also want to acknowledge service members and Washington National Guard members who've been integral to the state's COVID-19 response and recovery efforts. Thank you all for the incredible work that you have done and will continue to do to support your communities and keep Washingtonians safe during the pandemic. You deserve the best care, and you deserve the support, all the support that our nation can provide. To all the veterans today here and in our state and around the country, thank you as well. To everyone who continues to serve in the military, thank you as well. And to all the families who are supporting these folks, thank you very much for your service. And I want to thank you again for joining me today, and I look forward to commemorating Veterans Day next year in person with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Larson, and congratulations on your reelection. And thank you for all of your work on behalf of our veterans. Our next speaker is Oak Harbor Mayor Bob Severance. As you walk into Oak Harbor's City Hall, you will note the sign which says America's Premier Naval Community. In addition to being considered an outstanding mayor's mayor by all who know him, Mayor Severance has embraced the partnership with our Naval Air Station and fully understands the station's critical value to our country. In addition to 8,400 active duty military and numerous dependents, we have a significantly high proportion of veterans in our community at 2.6 times the national average. The Navy League asked the mayor to describe our community's partnership and its long-standing ties. Please see the very end of your digital program for the long-standing length of this association. Mayor Bob Severance recorded his segment at his office at City Hall.
Hello, I'm Bob Severance, Mayor of the fine city of Oak Harbor, Washington. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to describe the partnership that our city has with Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. I'm sure when I say that there were mixed emotions and mixed reactions in 1941 when our city, which comprised about 350 citizens, got word that the Navy was planning to build some sort of a station here close to our city. At that time, there were some that welcomed the potential economic effect. There were people that were concerned about what it would do to their quiet lifestyle here. And there were families who ultimately lost the farm and the lands that they loved. The first plans were only to bring about 250 people to our area. And they were talking about building a few buildings in the beginning. Well, with the changes that happened, of course, in 79 years, since 1941 to today, with things like world wars and the terrorist activities that happened, we have seen the Naval Air Station not only acquire approximately 5,000 acres of property. So those few buildings and few people turned into 8,400 plus active duty personnel, 18,000 plus family members, and many retirees who enjoy what is available to them on the base. There are contractors, many civilian contractors, and jobs that are related to NAS Whidbey Island. NAS is strategic to our entire country because of our location here, and we also have an outlying field for practice carrier landings that is almost not available anywhere else, just because of the way it was built and the way it is currently used. The city of Oak Harbor is proud to be a partner of NAS Whidbey Island. We see those people every day. They are not only our partners, they are our neighbors, they are family. We socialize together, and they join in the many opportunities that a city our size can provide. It has been a pleasure for me to get to know the commanding officer, Matt Arney, and his family. My wife and I have socialized with he and his wife and boys on several occasions. They're just, and that mirrors the many relationships that NAS Whidbey and the city of Oak Harbor has today. So not only do I thank the active duty personnel that and the retirees that I've come to know in this community, I thank the many veterans. God bless you, and thank you for everything you do for us.
Thank you, Mayor Bob. The mayor mentioned Captain Matt Arney, Whidbey's commanding officer. They truly are both great guys and great friends, and both are superlative individuals in the Oak Harbor and Naval Air Station partnership for America's premier naval community. Now we will pause and enjoy a couple selections from the Navy Band Northwest Brass Quintet. Please note your digital program for their description. These are literally the hardest working sailors in show business. With COVID seemingly restricting all music, they have stepped up for hours and other events. They are the premier United States Navy musical organization in the Pacific Northwest region. They perform nearly 500 engagements each year. Navy Band Northwest serves to heighten esprit de corps throughout the military and civilian communities while promoting patriotism and increasing public awareness of the Navy's mission. The first piece is Bugler's Holiday by Leroy Anderson, arranged by David Baldwin. Bugler's Holiday was written as a solo piece for 3 trumpets to be accompanied by a band. Solo trumpet parts are written to imitate the sound of a bugle. As most of you know, the bugle is a brass instrument without valves and is commonly used for military calls and fanfares. Bugler's Holiday is a favorite among crowds and trumpet enthusiasts. The second selection is American Patrol by F.W. Meacham, arranged by Arthur Freckenpohl. It incorporates original music themes from Meacham and melodies from patriotic songs of the era, such as Columbia, Gem of the Ocean, and Dixie. Originally composed for the piano, it was also arranged for wind instruments. A swing version was popularized by Glenn Miller during World War II. Ladies and gentlemen, Bugler's Holiday and American Patrol by Navy Band Northwest Brass Quintet. Thank you, Navy Band Northwest. Since I was in high school in Oregon, I have seen many performances. They have always left a lasting impact, and they have always been fantastic. Now we come to several segments which are the centerpiece of our observance. I am honored and humbled to showcase one of our World War II veterans and a veteran from Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. One is a Navy pilot, the other is a Marine with 2 Purple Hearts. Plus, we welcome Admiral Stephen Barnett, Commander, Navy Region Northwest. Please note, with these veterans and the Admiral, we recognize multiple conflicts. As we all know, it is the 75th anniversary of the ending of the Second World War. It is also the 70th anniversary of the Korean War and the 60th anniversary since the beginning of the Vietnam conflict, as recognized by Congress. Plus, it is almost 30 years since Operation Desert Storm. America has engaged in significant conflicts and provides essential deterrence. Without these 2 veterans, plus the many veterans and service members they and the Admiral exemplify, the world would likely be a very dark place. First up, Commander Clayton Egbertson. He is a card-carrying member of the Greatest Generation. He was a transport pilot during World War II. He flew all over the Pacific and later all over the world. During the war, he flew in and out of some of the most famous battlefields. He has had a life of service with 27 years in the reserves and active duty. He was a career teacher and is currently a prominent South Whidbey Lions member. I will let him tell you how he has kept busy during COVID. I am told his family considers him a great father, an amazing granddad, and a fantastic great-grandfather. And I've heard that great-grandkid just came in April. What better accolade is that? Both veterans today are interviewed by Mrs. Erica Wassinger. She is a member of Oak Harbor's City Council, plus she is a very involved business and community leader. This is in addition to being a super wife and super mom to 2 talented daughters. She serves our community in many capacities. It is my humble pleasure to introduce City Councilwoman Erica and Commander Egbertson, the Greatest Generation and World War II veteran.
Commander Ingebrigtsen, it's so nice to have you. Thank you for being here as we honor our veterans for Veterans Day. You're a lifelong Pacific Northwest native. You were born near Stanwood and graduated from Marysville High School in 1939. So that means you'll shortly have your 82nd high school reunion. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. You will likely have lots of students, high school students, watching today. Do you have any words of wisdom for our young generation, teenagers and children?
Just try to get the most you can out of your education. It's stay with you for the rest of your life.
Okay. You've had a life of service. You were a high school teacher, a World War II pilot, a career flying in the Navy Reserves, the Lions Club in South Whidbey. This is all very admirable. I understand during COVID how you have kept very busy. What have you been doing?
Well, I got started building some birdhouses out of old fence boards, cedar fence boards for my grandchildren or great-grandchildren. And someone decided they'd pay me for. So I started selling them. I made over 280 of them and put in over $5,000 to the Lions Club.
Wow.
I don't take anything out for myself. It's all for the Lions Club.
Yeah, that's amazing. I understand that we can find these birdhouses all the way in Canada.
Yes, and some went back to Pittsburgh too.
Pittsburgh. Oh my, that's amazing. So let's ask some questions about your service. How old were you when you joined the Naval Air Corps?
I was 20 years old.
So you weren't a young teenager straight out of high school.
No, I had 2.25 years of college before, and I'd also run out of money and worked for 4 or 5 months before I went in.
Okay. So what was your motivating factor? What made you want to join at that time?
Well, I didn't want to be drafted. I didn't want to go in the Army.
Okay.
And I was able to fulfill a lifelong desire to fly.
Okay. Did you know from a very young age that you wanted to fly?
Yes, I did.
That's really neat. So I actually have a picture of you here as a young Navy officer. I must say that you look really sharp and handsome here. And I noticed that your nose is still quite straight. I heard that you had an incident or two with a nose injury.
Well, pre-flight school, I was playing rugby, and I was tackled with a forearm across my nose and pushed my nose up, broke it on, that was a Thursday, I believe. But we did win the championship.
Oh.
Next Monday, I started boxing.
Okay.
It lasted about 3 days before it went over there again.
Oh. Oh, no. So during World War II, you were a transport pilot.
Yes.
Where all did you fly?
Well, I hit most of the the islands that had an airstrip on them. Some weren't very big. They were half a mile wide, 1.5 miles long, surrounded by a coral reef. That was it. You found that from 2,000-3,000 miles away. Mm-hmm. But we used celestial navigation. So we flew a lot at night.
So that means that you actually used the stars to know where you were going.
Fix and plot it, and it comes out very accurate, yes.
You carried casualties, critical supplies, and mail.
Yes.
This also gave you a great vantage point for the war. What were your impressions during this period? How were your feelings after the victory and that of your friends?
Well, it was a job to do. It had to be done, and it was my fortunate to be able to do it in a halfway comfortable way. I didn't have to go through all the tortures of the servicemen that were fighting the battles out there, the Marines. And I hauled back a lot of casualties. And I had the distinct honor of flying a group of men who had gone through the Corridor or Bataan Death March. And I don't know how many people remember that, but those 20-year-olds looked like they were 60 and 70-year-olds. And I flew them from Guam to Honolulu, and then another plane took them on.
Yes. You also, during one flight, carried the entire payroll of the U.S. Pacific Third Fleet, $3.5 million in cash, which today would be equivalent of $65 million in cash. How was this for you?
Well,
You
I
were
didn't
very,
have enough
very
gas to get
rich.
to South America, so I had to take it to Guam.
Okay. Were you nervous?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Did you know what you were carrying?
Oh, yes. It was in boxes, greenbacks. The Navy paid all in greenbacks. That's how you got paid those days.
Okay.
So this went to the paymaster in Guam and for the Third Fleet over there. So that was quite an experience, yeah.
Yes, that is something not many people can say that
Yeah, I was a millionaire for a
that
few
they were
hours.
even in sight of that much cash at one time.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you ever wish that you were a fighter pilot?
No, I don't like people shooting at me.
Well, I did learn that on one flight you did have Japanese planes trying to intercept you.
Yes, it was right from Saipan down to, but no, Los Negros is down south, and Truk Island was still held by the Japanese. We were west of Truk as we went down and came back. The radioman came, tapped me on the shoulder. I got a transmission, asked me to send so they get a position on us. I said, we maintain radio silence. But that was intercepted, and they shot down some of the Japanese planes that were attempting. So. But Tokyo Rose, I don't know, anybody remember Tokyo Rose? She said she was going to get one of our planes, but she never did.
Now, back to the Japanese intercepting or trying to intercept your plane. I had a question that someone wanted to ask, and that was, how were you able to persevere through those types of situations of fear and anxiety? I think it's another thing our young people today would like to know as they navigate life.
Well, you take the bad along with the good and try to look on it that, hey, we fooled them again. So you had to have that kind of an attitude.
And keep going,
Yes,
keep looking
going.
forward.
Yes. Yeah.
Fool them again.
Yeah. Never give up. So.
Yeah. All right. And can you tell us what were the types of planes that you flew?
Well, I started out flying the Piper Cub, and then Pasco with the Yellow Perils open cockpit, and then down to Corpus Christi for single engine, and I finally wound up flying, the last plane I flew was the old PBY,
Okay.
the old flying boat. So, and there's one on the main avenue there in Oak Harbor. So,
Yes, on Pioneer at the PBY Museum.
in fact, you'll see one of my pictures standing in front of it, the last picture in that book.
Yeah.
Oh,
And how many flight hours do you have total?
somewhere around 7,500.
Okay.
Can't come up with what correct.
You've got your books there?
I've got about 6 of these books. I'd have to total them up. So this is 43 to 45. So.
Wow.
Oh,
And every flight is written in
absolutely. Yes.
your books?
Night and day, where you went, and all that. So I have a pretty good record of where I've been in my life.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. Now, you also, an interesting fact about your flying, you had a month in 1944 where you had one Sunday and 7 Tuesdays. Can you explain to us how you accomplished this feat?
That's very easy. We flew mostly at night, and we had flights that would cross the international state line just about midnight.
Okay.
If you had westbound, you missed a day. You went from Tuesday to Thursday. So come back the other way, you doubled up, so you'd have 2 Sundays or 2 Tuesdays. Also had 2 Thanksgivings that year.
Oh,
Had fried spam both times.
I was going to say, did you get to have turkey twice?
No turkey.
No, no turkey.
Fried spam.
Do you miss flying?
Very much so, yes. I feel like I could go crawl in that thing and take off. You don't forget things like that. If you haven't driven a car for years, you get back in the car, you can drive it.
Like riding a bicycle?
And a bicycle, if you got good balance.
What is it that you miss the most about it, or that you enjoyed the most?
Well, it gave me quite. I'd come, do my job at school on a Friday, and head out towards Sandpoint and fly for the weekend. Fly back to Ohio, then to Alameda, back to Seattle. I came into Seattle about 2 or 3 o'clock Monday morning. I had to be at my job at 8.
Oh my goodness.
I told the kids, hey, take it easy on me today. So, yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 5 daughters and 1 son. I have 10 grandchildren, 11 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandson.
Oh my. Do you know how old is your great-great-grandson? Is he very young?
He was born in April.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. And I'm really happy and honored that you're here with us today. I thank you for your service. And I do have one more question that Steve really wanted me to ask before we leave. He says that you had a rule for the number of engines on the planes you flew. What was the rule and why?
Oh, it's just kind of a funny little rule. I stand in front of the airplane and I count the engines. If I come up with an uneven number, I don't fly it. I want 4.
You prefer 4?
Yes, very much so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It was really nice to meet you.
It was fun, and I hope I've brought a little joy around here for the kids.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Because I enjoyed working with teenage boys and girls.
Okay. Well, we have a wonderful NJROTC program here. I'm sure they'd love to have you anytime.
Okay.
I'll speak for them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Commander Engebretson. Your stories, experiences, and service to our country and community are truly inspiring and compelling. If only we could all contribute and live as well as you have done, our life would be pretty good. The next guest speaker has seen steady service here in the great Pacific Northwest. He is a native of Columbia, Tennessee, and is an alumni of Tennessee State, and earned a master's degree at Troy State. His commission was received through the Aviation Officer Candidate School. He served aboard the USS John C. Stennis and with multiple maritime patrol squadrons. As commanding officer, he commanded VP 47 at Kaneohe, Hawaii, where they supported Operation Enduring Freedom. Currently, Rear Admiral Stephen Barnett is the commander, Navy Region Northwest. Admiral Barnett is recorded off-site at Navy Base Kitsap.
Hi, I'm Rear Admiral Stephen Barnett, Commander, Navy Region Northwest. To all the veterans living right here in the Pac Northwest region, happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service. Veterans Day is celebrated across the country. It's celebrated as an American holiday. but for many Americans, it's more than just that. It's a time to formally recognize and thank veterans. Thank them for the sacrifices that they've made over all these many years. But for many other veterans, it's about remembering the good times, remembering the jokes, and remembering the laughs. It's about remembering their shipmates, their shared anxiety, the shared anticipation, and the shared commitment to win. It's also about remembering the feelings of shared loss and grief when their shipmates didn't get a chance to come home. Whether in war, peace, military service has always had cost and a real impact on all who serve. Whether they volunteered to serve or were actually drafted, our veterans fought for our freedoms. They fought to preserve peace, and they fought to deter aggression against our country. Whenever and wherever our nation needed them, our men and women in uniform worked tirelessly to defend us and support our allied nations around the world. They laid their lives on the line to protect and serve people they may have never met, in places they may have never been. Some even made the greatest sacrifice, that's given up their lives for us. While it's important to remember those who've passed, Veterans Day is also about remembering those who are still with us. I know I can't speak for everyone, but for many of us who decided to make a full career out of the military, we chose this line of work. We chose it because we want to do the right thing and give back to our country. We made the promise to work as hard as we can to protect the freedoms that we all have, such as the freedom of speech, and even the freedom to dislike the military or what the military actually does. We are now living in challenging times. The world may seem dangerous and the future may seem uncertain. But more than any other group, our veterans have been through challenging times before. Our nation's veterans have shaped the lives of individuals as well as the character of entire regions. They've been integral parts of the Washington community since even before statehood. They've served as governors, as congressmen, as senators, and as mayors. They served as leaders in our businesses, in our nonprofits, and also in our schools. We must also remember that our service members of today are our veterans of tomorrow. I want every sailor that I work with to be able to perform his or her assigned task and, more importantly, come home safely. I want all of our future veterans to spend many, many post-military years right here. If they call this place home, we'd love to have them here. We cannot do what we need to do for our nation without the support of our communities. Our neighbor communities, including Oak Harbor in Allen County, Everett in Snohomish County, and Kitsap in Jefferson counties. They've long supported the military, their families, and their veterans. And they continue to provide our sailors, past and present, the stability that they need on shore, so they can truly focus on the mission, whether it's at sea or in the air. And for that, we thank them. I know I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for the veterans who have directly or indirectly impacted my life. So on this Veterans Day, I ask that you not only thank the veterans in your life, but also take the time to connect with them and learn their stories. In the true spirit of Veterans Day, let's remember their service, let's remember their sacrifices, because we are who we are today because of them. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Admiral Barnett. In addition to the 11 states in your region, the Puget Sound is the third largest fleet concentration area. Your men and your mission are truly important. Now we turn to our second featured veteran. Sergeant Robert Olivares was born here at Naval Air Station, Whidbey Island, and graduated from Mount Vernon High School. He joined the Marines in 2000 with his best friend, like all good Marines. Then there was 9/11. He served multiple combat employments supporting Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom. He has been twice awarded one of America's most venerated combat medals, the Purple Heart, which is only awarded to those wounded or killed in combat. He is a single dad with 6 kids. He is also the regional commander for the Military Order of the Purple Heart. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Sergeant Robert Olivares, Jr., United States Marine, with Erica Wassinger.
Sergeant Olivares, thank you so much for joining us today as we honor our veterans. And my name is Erica Wassinger, and I'll just be interviewing you and asking you a few questions about your service and your life. Earlier I spoke with Commander Ingebrigtsen, a World War II pilot. Now I have the privilege of sitting here with you, a Marine who is a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom, and was awarded not 1, but 2 Purple Hearts. I am honored and humbled to be with you. Later we'll talk more about your medal. First, your dad was in the Navy and you were born here at Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. How long did you live here on the island?
I want to say a couple months, because right after that my parents bought a house in Mount Vernon.
Okay, and then you went on to graduate high school from Mount Vernon High School. What year was that?
99.
I also graduated high school in 1999, which means that you must be or are almost 40.
I will be next month.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, December.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I just turned 40 last month.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. So you're literally a local boy, and you've got to travel to the ends of the earth. So tell me about your experiences and where you've traveled in your service.
We went to a lot of places. Majority after 9/11 was routinely back to Iraq. But I did do Camp Hansen in Okinawa, Japan, did a carrot float, and then just all over California for training.
Okay. And now you currently live in Marysville.
Yes.
And we certainly appreciate you driving up here to the island to be with us. And you're a single dad. I understand you have 6 children. Can you tell me about your children, how old they are?
My oldest is 19, which is Robert, the third, followed by my second oldest, which is Jaden, who's 16, and then my third oldest boy, who'll be 13 in December as well, which is Isaiah. And then there's a nice little gap, and so I have my oldest daughter, which is Juliet. She's 8. My second oldest daughter, or fifth child, which is Kaylin, she'll be 5 in December as well. And then my youngest, which is Savannah, she's 7 months.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you did a great job.
Handful. Yeah. Thanks.
That must keep you very busy. I have two girls as well. So I'm a civilian. So my knowledge of Marines is not very vast. But when I think of a Marine, I think of probably the toughest physically, mentally, guys that have great teamwork, great loyalty. Am I correct? And
Yes.
what else would you add to describe a Marine?
Well, that bond that we have is there forever. There's a saying, once a Marine, always a Marine. Mm-hmm. And since I've been home, I've met hundreds of Marines, and I've become good friends, not just friends, but we're family, we're brothers. I got a guy, Sam Phillips, who was in the Marine Corps 8 years after I was, got medically discharged because he got home, and we're the best of friends. We talk weekly, we're always hanging out, and it doesn't matter the time frame. We both went through the same process, and we both earned that honor. So once a Marine, always a Marine. I'll be the Marine till the day I die.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Now, as we mentioned, you also have a Purple Heart,
Yes.
2 Purple Hearts. Can you tell us about the story of your first Purple Heart?
The first Purple Heart, let's see. So we were an advanced team. We were a scout platoon, and we were looking for a new FOB, forward operating base, to put another unit in. And we were coming across the desert. Just have, regular day, went over a sand dune, came across it, came to the bottom, started going back up, and ran over an anti-tank mine. So it took off the whole front end of my Humvee. And at first I didn't know what happened. And I looked around, I was like, I told my driver, my corpsman best friend, like, hey, stop the Humvee, stop the Humvee. I was radioing, checking in. My gunner was knocked out, my A gunner was knocked out. And I kept saying stop the vehicle is all I remembered, and he kept telling me we're not moving, and dust settled, got a better vision of what was going on, and came to the conclusion they finally got me. So I was bleeding from the legs and made sure everybody was okay before we were tended. Mm-hmm. But it was just adrenaline was high, so I don't think I was in very much pain when I got shrapnel through the legs.
Okay.
So.
Wow. So I had a question posed on social media. I reached out to my friends and said, what would you want to know? What would you ask a veteran that served in World War II and in these Afghanistan and Iraq, and they posed a question of how are you able to persevere through that type of situation, fear, anxiety, and I think that's important for our kids to sort of know and even in the challenges now with COVID and life being a little bit different, how are you able, what advice would you give them to persevere through adversity in challenging situations?
Think of something back home that kept you going. The only reason I made it through so many tours was because of, at the time, my ex-wife and my boys. I wanted nothing more than to come home and see them and watch them grow. And with that, I was able to put fear aside a little and just think of them and become a better person and try to make sure that we were all safe and look out for each other. Okay. So I think my biggest motivation and drive while I was overseas was my boys. So I had 2 sons at the time.
So for background, I just want to describe what the Purple Heart is, just some basic information. The Purple Heart, some facts, is the oldest military award still given to U.S. military members.
Yes.
The Purple Heart is awarded to any member of the armed forces of the United States who has been wounded or killed in combat. The Purple Heart differs from most other decorations in that an individual is not recommended, but for the decoration, rather, he or she is entitled to it upon meeting specific criteria. It is among the most respected of all military medals. Is there anything that you would add to that description?
The Purple Heart actually started out as the military badge of merit, and it wasn't for wounds. It was actually started out as a congratulations or like a good conduct medal to give soldiers back then an appreciation and let them know that they were appreciated.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that. So it's actually it is the oldest medal, and we're a brotherhood, and we'll always welcome another Purple Heart recipient, but we don't want any more. You know, we want people to live their lives, and if we could be the last of the recipients, we would be happy with that. So.
I understand. So I have a photo. I'm not sure where, I think they're going to put it up on the screen, of you receiving your first award, and you have a young Navy person next to you,
Yes.
A Navy corpsman. And this is a very, very prestigious medal, and you look like you were very young men, which you probably were. So what was going through your heads?
It was hot. I remember my first.
Oh, I have it here.
Yeah.
I do have it. There it is.
I think it was about 145 that day. We were tired, and I think we just got downtime, and they called the formation, and we were annoyed because we just come back from a mission with EOD. And so if you notice, the look on my face is like, why am I still up? So it's like, but I was actually forgotten that I was wounded, and we just went on with our lives and continuing our mission. And then when I got that, I was like, oh man, not only am I tired, but I just came to the realization that I almost died one day.
Wow. So tell us about your second Purple Heart story.
So we were on another patrol with DOD. We just blew up some munitions, and we were going out. We got called back out, and we provided overwatch for EOD. We're going down Route Diamond and Al Qaim, and I was just out of the corner of my eye, I saw a rocket coming at the first truck, and I went to radio Bollinger RPG. Right when I said that, my door was struck by an RPG. And so luckily we had a up armor door with some Kevlar padding, so I did suffer some injuries. The glass did cut my right eye a little, and I do have to wear glasses because of it now, and it did jar my right shoulder and neck. But that's after that, I just remember opening up fire and just engaging everything after the ringing stopped, and then making sure I was good.
Okay. In 2011, you joined the Military Order of the Purple Heart.
Yes.
They advocate for those wounded in combat. I know that you've been in this high school,
Yes.
presenting awards to Oak Harbor's Junior ROTC program. Can you tell me a little bit more about this program in this order?
So within the Military Order of the Purple Heart, we actually do a lot. We're like one of we're one of the bigger organizations, but we're also one of the most not known, because we're not out here to say, hey, we're here, give us money or do this for us, or oh, woo is me. We help out veterans in every form and aspect, anywhere from the welfare funds where we help them out financially. We have the 22 is Enough program. It's to help prevent suicide. We're really big on that. We have the Cities and Trails program, where we honor other recipients who live in towns, and we make their towns Purple Heart towns or cities and stuff like that. And the I-5 is a Purple Heart highway. We do a lot of mentoring for the younger you guys, even if they're not Purple Heart recipients. We do have a lot of people reach out who are having some type of issue, so we just talk with them and hang out with them. And we just pretty much try to help everybody in any way we can. We do a lot of ROTC. I'm one of the very well-known faces around here. We do the Leadership Award, and we come and present a junior for leadership, and then we just help out with other organizations if we have the ability to at the time when they ask.
So like I said, I'm a civilian, and what are some ways, how can our communities assist those wounded in combat? What can we do as a country, as community members, to help?
I always tell people, just ask if there's anything they need. Don't push it, but when a veteran's ready, they'll always open up. We tend to open up more to other veterans, but I'm noticing more that if there's something that they had in common, they'll open up just as fast. So I always tell people, if you have a problem, just ask. They see if they help you, and it goes both ways. So and also I've known and experienced when a veteran's ready, they'll open up and they will reach out.
Look out for our neighbors.
Yep.
So what advice, all of your life experiences, pretty cool life experiences, what advice would you give to our young people? It sounds like you work a lot with high schools and young people in your services, but what do you tell them? What advice do you give them to lead a great life, a happy life?
Be proud of who you are and make the best of every day that you can. It's like I tell my boys, be nice to each other, your family. I think we've gotten away from being courteous, and so I try to tell people you need to be nice. There's no need for fighting. You can't fight forever, but just mainly to be proud of who you are, and if you can carry that pride, it'll get you far. So.
Well, thank you so much for being here today with me and sharing your stories. Thank you again for your service, and it was really, really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Oliveras. What a great Marine, a great advocate, and a great dad. Be proud of who you are. That is a great message. You're an inspiration. Thank you for your service during the wars, and thank you for your service now to those wounded in combat. One more time, we will pause and enjoy a couple selections from the Navy Band Northwest Brass Quintet. Again, please note your digital program for their description. As I originally stated, they are the premier United States Navy music organization in the Pacific Northwest region. The first selection is Ain't Misbehavin'. This was composed in 1929 by Fats Waller and Harry Brooks. This particular arrangement is an adaptation by Lee Norris. The song was part of a sensational Broadway show named Hot Chocolates, and it was Ain't Misbehavin', which rocketed Louis Armstrong to national fame. The second piece is entitled Bill Bailey by ragtime pianist Hugh Cannon, and is arranged by Luther Henderson. It was originally entitled Bill Bailey, Won't You Please Come Home? The song has a storied history and is considered one of America's musical gems. It has a 32-bar chorus sequence which underpins many tunes played by jazz bands. Navy Band Northwest is recorded at Naval Base Kitsap. Thank you, Navy Band Northwest, for their superb performance in all of today's pieces. We will hear them again as they provide the postlude to the program. For our last speaker, we turn to a very serious topic. Each day, we lose 22 veterans to suicide. Ms. Tonelli Gruder is from Growing Veterans. Her organization empowers veterans to cultivate purpose and belonging by growing food, community, and each other. Their vision is to end the isolation that leads to veteran suicide. Ms. Tonelli Gruder.
Hi, my name is Tonelli Gruder, and I'm here with Growing Veterans. We are an organization that serves Washington and the nation beyond. We are here to support veterans in our fight against veteran suicide. How we fight veteran suicide at Growing Veterans is through a unique approach of marrying agricultural training and the power of growing something from the earth rather than taking life away. And the therapeutic benefits of that we call dirt therapy. We administer dirt therapy from our 2 farms in Linden, Washington, as well as Green Bank, Washington on Whidbey Island, which are open to the public for volunteering, as well as for VCC, Veteran Conservation Corps internships and college internships. Our services also center around a peer support training network, which we are working on building larger and stronger every day. We have an accredited program, which you can use for college credits, to become a certified peer supporter. What that means is that you can go through a virtual program to learn how to support other veterans who may be going through mental health problems without the stigma, which is so important in this time. Since the beginning of COVID-19, our community has seen a 20% on average increase in active duty suicides. The numbers are still coming out on how this is affecting veterans, and some branches are affected more than others. Those who do attend our peer support trainings, 91% of them report that they have improved their professional skills. We also see that 87% report having an increased sense of purpose, which is truly one of the best signifiers of having the will to continue going on. We have 126 graduates of our program since becoming accredited. In addition to this formal peer support training, as I mentioned, we have a program at our 2 farms where any volunteer, while we are a veterans organization, we are not a veterans club, we are open to the general public, and we would just love to encourage all of our neighbors here at Whidbey and all of our community members to get involved. This year alone, between our 2 farms, we were able to donate 4,000 pounds of top quality produce to local food banks. With food insecurity becoming more and more of an issue with COVID-19, we are so excited to help use that byproduct of our good work of healthy, happy veterans to create healthy food systems as well. For anybody who's interested in getting involved with Growing Veterans, you can find us on any of your social media. We're very active on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we are there, even YouTube. We always try our best to be an arm's length away from you. Wherever you need us, we try to be here to answer that call. If you would like to get involved with Growing Veterans or donate, you can learn more at www.growingveterans.org. Now more than ever, we really need your support, and I just want to thank everybody here for including us in your Veterans Day celebration. Being a veteran is so much more than words can even put to, and we are here to support those who lose the battle here at home as well and prevent that from happening in the future. We just want to be here to support our veterans and their neighbors and their family members.
Thank you, Tonelli. That is a compelling message. The loss of each and every veteran is a true tragedy. Thank you for your organization's important efforts. As we near our close, I invite your attention to the section of your program which names the many veteran-related organizations that serve our community. We salute all members of these organizations and their families for their service and sacrifice they represent for their roles in our community. Please also see the mission statements near the end of the digital program for the service organizations which have assisted our efforts. Normally, our previous 15 iterations were without expense. Sponsors from our community, as listed in the program, have allowed us to put this digital content together. Thank you for your generous support. A couple last thank yous go out to the Oak Harbor High School for letting us honor our veterans using your Performing Arts Center. I hope that we overachieved for your COVID guidelines. Dr. Lance, Dwight, Jared, Commander Vince, Chief Vic, you know who you are. Also, we began our program with the striking of 21 bells. That was performed by Cadet Chief Petty Officer Elizabeth Edwards of the Oak Harbor School's Navy Wildcat Battalion. Thank you, Cadet Chief Edwards. Lastly, thank you to Kelly of Wallens. She has literally tipped and is now known by just her single first name. She is a true community service angel. This program could not have been possible without her tireless energy and attention to detail. Before we give honors to departed veterans, I would like to recognize the service group, Patriot Guard Riders. The Patriot Guard Riders ensure dignity and respect at memorial services honoring fallen military heroes, first responders, and honorably discharged veterans. They will assist in rendering honors to our departed veterans. It is our intent today to honor our veterans of all services and all conflicts, past and present, the heroes among us. With our nation's commitment to freedom in various conflicts, new heroes and new veterans are made each day. And here at home, with the passing of time, those heroes of wars and battles past continue to depart. And of course, our thanks to all of you for attending this ceremony as we continue to honor our veterans and to let them know they are not forgotten. While we honor our veterans and our heroes, please rise as you are able and as appropriate, and remain standing for the remainder of the program. Let us now observe a moment of silence, a moment of remembrance, a moment of gratitude in memory of those shipmates who remain missing in action and all who have made their final muster. Pastor Johnson will now deliver the benediction.
Today, we have honored the stories of those who have served in our armed services. But now, as we exit this moment, the question before us is, how will each of us carry forth this calling of service to our God, to our families, our friends, and our neighbors, and to our country and to the Constitution of the United States of America? In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Johnson. Taps will be played by the Navy Band Trumpets. It is performed at the 9/11 Memorial Park on Naval Station Bangor. It is an inspiring location with a bald eagle perched on a tree near a prominently displayed American flag.
Patriot Guard, present arms. Patriot Guard, order, arms.
Be safe during these times, and please Even if you've already done so, say thank you to a veteran today. It has been my humble pleasure to honor our veterans with you today. Ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony is concluded. We hope to see you all next year in person.